sales, driving down the wages. Criminalizing speculation, the lies of this nation on par with the deficit is facing. And now you getting raped by the TSA, martial law in its infant stage. When they be sweeping the broad, standardize the world, that means that you getting one choice. America used to be free, now they silence your voice. Re-education camps in the U.S. for the defiant and famous behind it. The liar, reliance from the globalist giant who swallow politics. These morticians are funny, hypocrisy. It's like Peter feasting on a bunny.
Say this for the sheeple, power to the people. Me love this country, but hate the evil.
Revolution is coming, we summon a new day. Hey, quit drinking that Kool-Aid.
Say this for the sheeple, power to the people. Me love this country, but hate the evil.
Revolution is coming, we summon a new day. Hey, quit drinking that Kool-Aid. It's a godless.
Hello everyone, welcome to Global Government News. Today is Wednesday, May 30th, 2012, and I'm Darko. My website is ggnonline.com, and on YouTube it's ddarko 2012 and 2013. All the headlines and links will be posted in YouTube's video description. So, this first article I have up is from RT. Bilderberg Power Masters meet in the United States. And, of course, InfoWars, they're just covering that, like, really extensively, so I don't really need to go into it. And to be honest with you, I already know about it. I mean, it's like everything else, like the protests. It's just, I guess you can bring attention to it, but I mean, what are you gonna do? You know, you're just gonna sit out there and annoy the people that work there. But you know, most of us do understand that. You know, Pepsi, Cola, IBM, all these companies, Goldman Sachs, they're all meeting together periodically behind closed doors in private, kind of like the G8 was, and they're deciding, you know, countries' futures. So it says here, every time a Bilderberg meeting takes place, important things happen. The last time they met in the United States was an election year in 2008, and the world got Obama. This year they're back in the United States. Will they decide who the next president will be? But also, yeah, in 2008, the housing crisis, and that's what they were engineering and cooking up as well. So on June 5th of that year, Barack and Hillary mysteriously disappeared for some hours somewhere in the D.C. area. Their agendas blocked out, and they clearly sneaked off to meet the Bilderbergers. But to be honest, you know, there is some real business that goes on here. Unlike the G8, which basically, from what I read, they didn't really accomplish anything. I'm not really sure if they were supposed to be accomplishing anything that was good or positive for the people they, quote, represent. But either way, it says Obama pushes growth and stability. No, it means he's pushing more debt at the G8 summit. Then we have Euro falls amid fears of Spain possible bailout. It slumped to a 2-year low versus the U.S. dollar. It says here Spain may be forced into asking, could be forced into asking for a bailout of its ailing bank. So that's how it works. You're forced into asking. So, Bank of England readies plan for Euro collapse. I covered this on Monday. The Bank of England is poised to cut interest rates or launch another round of quantitative easing if the Euro collapses. It has emerged. So it says here that the bank has already completed some quantitative easing program, effectively printing more money worth £325 billion. And it goes on and says this extends from asking banks to ensure their position in Greece to considering new border controls to prevent a wave of immigration from the European economies. Then we have Barroso saying he sees political momentum for more integration. So he goes on and he says that this is going to push for an early plan for further integration in the Eurozone, claiming political momentum on his side. And basically what he's calling for is a banking union to help share the debt burden. So pre-collapse ramp-up, retailers stock up on shutters, organize security details ahead of financial meltdown with hundreds of billions spent to save the economy of Greece and the rest of the continent. Unemployment rates have been in excess of 50% among those in their 20s. And a solution now nowhere to be found. Many of Europe's countries and around the world are realizing that this entire system is about to come unhinged. When it does, they're going to be ready. So for riots on the streets. It says retail businesses in Greece and Greater Europe are now planning for the worst. And it goes on here. It says that they're planning this company Dixon. This is from Reuters. It says that the company bosses around Europe agree as the financial crisis in Greece worsens, companies are getting ready for everything from social unrest to complete meltdown of the financial system. So the preparations include sweeping cash out of Greece every night. Cutting debts, weeding out badly paying customers and readying for a switch to the new Greek currency if the country is forced to abandon the euro. So it says here Dixon's has ordered enough shutters to protect its stores and is working with Greek police and security groups. I'm sure you remember this from Monday, this article. Police tell Greeks not to withdraw money from banks. Police are urging Greeks to keep their money in bank accounts rather than putting it at risk of theft, the Guardian reports. And remember this, Lagarde of the IMF telling the Greeks to pay their taxes. Well, it says here that the IMF boss, who caused international outrage when she suggested that the Greeks should pay their taxes, earns a tax-free salary. Then we have the mass migration of the super rich. It says here the global rich are on the move, whether it's wealthy French or Americans fleeing from prospect of higher taxes or wealthy Russians, Chinese trying to escape political uncertainty. Millionaires and billionaires around the world are migrating like never before, according to government statistics and relocation experts. There's a sudden awakening among the wealthy that they are no longer bound to a certain country. Well, we're globalized, and they know that. And also, they understand that certain countries are going to be changing drastically in the near future here, even borders and stuff like that. So that's why they're moving around. That's why I have people like Bachmann. I'm not saying she's super rich, but people, changing citizenship and stuff like that. Yeah, the number of Americans seeking to renounce their citizenship surged to more than 1,700 last year, more than twice the rate in 2009. Yeah, so here we go. The wealthy are eyeing Switzerland, Britain, and Singapore as possible escapes from France. Some of the rich in France are also seeking to leave what they perceive as a growing hostility towards the rich in their country, while those rich in China and Russia and Brazil are going to Britain and the United States in record numbers. Then we have Rothschilds buy into Rockefeller wealth business, two of the most glamorous names. That's glamorous, right? When you're doing what you're doing there, it's a glamorous thing, right? It says here in the names in global finance are linking up with the Rothschild banking dynasty, agreeing to buy a stake in the Rockefeller Group's wealth and asset management business to get a long-sought foothold in the United States. Yeah, they're buying 37% from the French group Societe Generale. This is funny. It goes on here, says that Rothschilds has helped finance Britain's war against Napoleon in the 19th century and raising funds for the loan allowing the British government to buy the Suez Canal. If I remember correctly, helping to finance the Britain's war against Napoleon in the 19th century. I'm sure some of you know what I'm going to say here. But wasn't it that he was responsible for disseminating disinformation that England had lost, and everybody just kind of said, whatever, and the markets went down, and he just bought everything up on the cheap. So he actually made out. See, that's what's so glamorous about these people. They take over entire effing countries. Shell is the first major to exit oil blocks in post-war Libya. Royal Dutch Shell Monday became the first major gas company to exit the oil and gas exploration blocks in the post-war Libya amid concerns over insecurity in contracts. So the Anglo-Dutch giant, that's Royal Dutch Shell, basically the Queens and that, insisted it was all still interested in the country, which holds Africa's largest oil reserves. So it's kind of funny, right? They're actually complaining about how good of a deal they had when they had Gaddafi there. As we were talking about elections, just some quick election news. Mass illegal immigration, voter fraud in Florida, and the feds don't care. So it goes on, it says that last month, Florida election officials were denied help by the feds to confirm citizenship status for 180,000 legal immigrants already registered to vote. It says in just one swing state, an election that's going to be boiled down to, it says that's a few thousand votes. It's pretty important. It says here, workers shot outside South Texas polling location. He was struck in the leg. I don't think he was killed. And then we have this. In Iraq, they whip shoes at you, but in Canada, they send feet to their representatives. Human foot mail to Canada's Conservative Party, or Neoconservative Party is what it should be called. And then back to Florida. It says here a Florida Panhandle mayor has died after an apparent exposure to mold while investigating a resident's complaint. Then the last couple articles I have in politics, U.S. Tea Party fans to boycott presidential election report. It says report, and it goes on and says that they reportedly said that its supporters will not cast their ballots in the November presidential vote in a bid to protest the election process in their country. Well, hopefully it doesn't get like the UK or England where you're actually required to register to vote. I'm not sure if you have to vote, but yeah, it's getting that bad. So yeah, it's like with Ron Paul though. They actually said that he had quit his campaign. It's like no, he just doesn't have any money, so he's for the primaries anymore, and he's just going to hold off until the general election. But they said that he was quit. He quit it, and he was out. And then you have Obama in the news today saying, "Oh, well, he's congratulating Mitt Romney on clinching their nomination." Right? So I mean, it's just pure bullshit. Again, Mitt's dilemma Memorial Day speech claims two paths forward. It goes on. It says he said, insisting that the U.S. has two paths forward. Romney presented the dilemma between the pathway to Europe, nothing how much smaller European militaries are than in the early 20th century, and how that had made them less influential to shrink our military smaller to pay for our social needs. So he made it clear he prefers the other option in which the U.S. keeps a massive military industrial complex that is way bigger than any other power on the planet.